Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, lived an old woman alone. She wasn't wealthy, had no valuable possessions, but was deeply loved by all for her gentle nature, wisdom, and the warm smile always on her lips. Anyone facing trouble or sorrow would come to her for comfort. She not only listened, but gave simple, heartfelt advice that eased their burdens. One day, a young man in the village asked her something many had wondered. "Why are you always happy? Don't bad things ever happen to you?" The old woman smiled kindly and said, "Life has its ups and downs. Some days are good, others bad. But I've learned that happiness doesn't come from what happens around us, it comes from within." Curious, the young man asked how she stayed joyful despite hardships. She then shared her story. "When I was young," she said, "I had a small but happy family. We weren't rich, but we loved one another. One day, my husband fell seriously ill. We couldn't afford medicine, and he passed away. It broke me. I cried for days, thinking I'd never smile again. But then I saw my children needed me. I realized grief couldn't bring him back, it would only steal my present." She continued, "So I chose to look at life differently. I accepted joy and sorrow as part of the journey. But I decided not to let the sorrow take away my smile." The young man asked, "How do you stay positive every day?" She replied, "Every morning, I tell myself, this is a new day. I'll find one thing to be grateful for. Sometimes it's just the sun, a flower, or a friend's hello. These little things bring me joy." He asked, "But when something really terrible happens, can you still be happy?" She nodded, "It's not easy, but I remind myself, this too shall pass. I focus on what I still have, health, friends, life itself. Happiness is a choice. If we look for good things, joy will always be there." The young man left her home inspired. From that day, he began noticing life's small blessings, the breeze, birds singing, a kind smile. Slowly, he felt lighter, happier. He understood, it wasn't circumstances, but perspective, that shaped emotion. Her story spread throughout the village. People began to see happiness not as luck, but as a mindset. Life was still hard, but the village became warmer, kinder. People learned to value simple joys and keep smiling, no matter the struggles. The old woman, though aged and alone, had given the village something priceless. The true secret to happiness. She had taught them, happiness isn't found in riches or perfect days, it is found in how we see life. We can focus on the pain or choose to notice the light in the darkness. Life isn't perfect, it never will be. But gratitude, even for small things, makes it meaningful. She reminded them, everything passes. Even pain. And when we face life with strength and a thankful heart, we overcome. Though old, she lived joyfully, proving that age or status can't define happiness, only our soul can. From her story, a timeless truth emerged. Happiness isn't a destination, it's how we walk the path. None of us can avoid hardship. But how we respond matters most. If we open our hearts, we'll find joy in sunrises, kind gestures, or simply being alive. The old woman didn't wait for life to be perfect. She smiled first, and in doing so, made life better. Her story is a gentle reminder. We can't control every situation, but we can control how we feel and react. Happiness is a decision. And when we choose joy, we share that light with others, just like she did.